Hello, everyone. I hope you all had a good break. My name is Ivana, and I will be your host for this track. Our first speaker is Ivana. She's a C++ gameplay and UI programmer with over 6 years of experience in AAA, mobile, and solo projects. And she will explore why even best teams can fall into chaos and how can communication fix everything. So please welcome her.
So I will start this talk with a little tale of a perfect dream team that was gathered of experienced seniors that love to create games. They have a great idea. All of them are on the same page concerning idea. They have the funds, everything, and the enthusiasm is at the highest as it will ever be. So this is the best team, it will be the best game. Fireworks are everywhere. And because they are so experienced and they have trust in each other, there are no need for any micromanagement, for any usual meetings, things, stuff like that. They can all be sure that they will do their job in the best way they can. And so they work happily ever after, or not. So what usually happens when we have teams of independent thinkers is that on a first major milestone, when we have to see the playable game, when everything needs to come together, is that it seems that everything is actually falling apart. So the design isn't as fun as it should be, so we need to create some changes that tech doesn't support. The deadline has already passed, and everything is urgent, and the whole team is in panic mode all the time, and patience and wider picture seem like a distant dream for some other teams, and not this one. I'm Ivana Jovičić, and welcome to my HipCon talk. This is a little agenda, so you can easier follow when is the end of this all. So a little bit about me, who am I, and why it may be interesting for you to listen to me on this subject. I have to confess something. I'm crazy, or I'm creative programmer. So I have over 5 years of professional experience, both in AAA and in mobile game development, and working in different teams and both solo passionate and small passionate projects gain me unique experience to this industry from all sides. I started as a junior programmer at Ubisoft, and at Play Studios I had unique opportunity to actually lead a team that had people from every expertise in on one project from the start to finish. A little bit about my career path. So solo and small team projects. I could learn quickly, iterate quickly through designs. I could experiment a little bit with team organization. And as all solo and small projects go, you are usually filling multiple shoes or multiple roles. So you have to be able to think about wider picture and about details, because you always get excited about details and how it will look at the end. I entered industry through the Ubisoft Belgrade studio. I got introduced that way to working to big projects, where now I have a fully specialized role. I work on a small part of the project, and I can't do it all alone. I can't investigate everything on my own, so I had to learn to rely on my peers. Also, structure and established processes are a priority in the big systems like that. Then, in the intermediate time, I went to experiment a little in mobile, in Play Studios on a live game. That was unique experience because we had, as I mentioned, smaller teams consistent of independent people from each expertise. So one animator, one artist, one programmer, one QA. And we were, the project was relying on us from the start to finish. There were shorter development cycles, and the QA was even more rigorous because the game was alive, and we needed to make sure that the experience for our players remained the same even after we updated it. I gained a little bit experience in team leadership there, and now I'm back to AAA, to Ubisoft, and I'm trying to merge all my previous experiences and enhance the teamwork there with everything that I know. Merging opposites. This is the way that I would describe game development teams in the shortest terms. I see them as best from all worlds, and that is why I chose game development from the start, because I was a programmer that also liked to draw, to write, stuff like that, and game development seemed like a unique inclusion of all the stuff that I liked. There often seems that there are two sides of the coin in the gaming, technical and creative side. Technical seems to be like more fact oriented, concrete, while creative people like to diverge, add new ideas, experiment. But I found that technical people can also be creative, but they go into the completely different extremes. So they either think too narrowly or too widely, trying to figure out what are the all possible solutions for future options and needs for the game, and that is never the best way to actually start thinking of your project, because you can never see into the future, and sometimes you can begin your projects too complicated, and that you conclude in the end that that is not needed. What is important to mention that everyone has the same goal, but different vision how to get there. And sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Sometimes it seems like people are trying to create completely different games. These are highly passionate individuals with deep expertise knowledge. Then, how do we even get to these problems and chaos? So I mentioned that we have highly passionate individuals. That means that they have strong opinions for basically everything that they're working on this project. People love the project, love the work they're doing, and believe in it passionately. So when there comes to some kind of not compatibility amongst teams, it can be fiery. What needs to be kept in mind is that every expertise have their own vision and priorities for the project. So us as programmers, we find clean code, manageable code, clean design, having the right tools to do it, and finishing it all in time, very important. For designers, since game development is not the goal itself. When we start creating the game, we are never sure how it will be at the finish. So the game development itself is a little bit like experimentation. So we need to give to designers as many tools to experiment for as long as they can, and as early in project as we can. And of course, their main priority is having a fun, playable game. UX designers are mostly interested in the user experience that flows from start to finish, that every step is logical, every font, every icon, everything you see on the screen is readable, that the user is never lost in the game, and that player knows what is the next thing that needs to be done. Artists, everything looks nice. I mean, we know that they are really big on aesthetics, and sometimes they can be bothersome because they know to be pixel detailed, and that can be frustrating when they return multiple times the visuals. But also for them, it is really important to see their work as soon as possible in a game. And even if it doesn't look like they are interested in tech side of things, they are mostly. And we need to listen to them a little bit closely, usually. QA engineers, of course, they want to break the game as soon as possible. But not only that, they need to understand the design, and it is the best when the QA are included as early as possible in the design negotiations, because they are the first ones to actually see blind spots and possible problems. Also, it is important for them to have a way to test each and every part of the game. And producers, they only care if the work is finished on time. But apart from that, they care that the deadlines are possible. So it is important to communicate with them about any problems that we see early on, so we can both come on the same page what is possible and what is doable for the project ahead. What happens in these type of situations, especially when we have experts that focus on their own niche of problems and parts of the project, is that if everyone is focused on being right, then no one is. So we need each of the expertises to work on a game and for a game to work. And they need to work together, even if it doesn't seem like it in some parts. Every expertise, of course, has strong and valid arguments, because they wouldn't be on a team otherwise. They know their job, they know what needs to be done. Also, I found that the mentality of just give me what I need in order to do my job right is really detrimental to game dev projects, because it never stays on that. You can never be apart from all the other team members. And in that way, people get stuck in their own problems and don't see the problems that are cross-teamable. And when problems like that become obvious, and that is usually on the first major milestone, it is usually too late, and the fixes are major and need too much time to implement. So every expertise is strong and valid arguments, but the project sits dead in tracks, even if it's true. From my own personal experience, we had a fun project that was only a reskin of an old feature, nothing major, trust us, it will be quick. And we as a team were already working for some time, and we trusted that one. Okay, it will be a few sprints, in and out, it will be done. But we got too comfortable, and we didn't see the problems from the start, because the feature that we needed to reskin was never released, and there was a very, very good reason for it. It was in really, really bad shape. It was really hard to work in it, and the problems weren't only in our own domains, so there wasn't like only code was bad, but the art was fine, we could work with that. No, the problems were the whole project wide. And in the end, the deadline was moved 3 times before the project was cancelled. So until the deadline comes, we see new very big problem why we can't finish it. With that, we also had additional changes in the team. Some people were let go, so it was fun all around. So what I propose is the key element is not only communication, but first step to it, curiosity. It seems pretty simple, but in my not only experience, but experience in other teams that I've heard about, the tunnel vision happens to all of us, and the more senior you are, the more likely is it to happen to you. And the one thing that actually cures tunnel vision is the start of curiosity. It makes you be more open to what other teams are doing. And usually it only needs one person in a team to start the chain. It would be perfect if it is team lead, but it isn't necessary. So you can start with asking questions, is this really the only way? So I know that this is the best way and it is the best way for me, but if the other team members are also having pain points, how about I hear them out and see why is this so important to them? Why are they so stubborn on their points when I know, even though I know it doesn't seem that way? Or maybe is this wasting our time? Will this really be important by the end of the project? And the usual, how can I help you? Of course, curiosity is a necessary step to empathy, and we all know from the last year's LinkedIn posts and Facebook, Instagram that empathy is the magic word for every problem the team can have. But I find it is really important, and it is important to understand the whole team and where the project is going from each of their perspective. So different teams have different needs. If you're working in a big team that has multiple teams of expertises, so the separate programming, maybe even separate specialties for programming, AI, backend, UI programming. The one person that starts to be curious needs to pull other members of its team and to try to inspire them. It isn't enough to by yourself start to listen to other teams, but you need to have other team members in mind also. In a smaller team where we have one or two of each expertise, it is usually enough only for that one person to start talking to others. So developers are curious, but they are not exempt from these problems. Since when you're a sole developer, you feel many shoes, many roles. There are usually some internal conflicts that appear when you're working on a game. And my advice would be to actually try to put it on a page, all different roles, all of their priorities, and to try to solve them in that way to see what really is the priority for your project right now. Practical solutions, and some of you won't like them. Believe it or not, I know that none of us love meetings that much, but in these cases, meetings are mandatory, but they need to be focused, and I don't believe in meetings that are long, that have the whole team structure there, even if they are not working on that part of the project. So what worked for us were short daily syncs, where only team members that were working on that part of the project were present. Sorry. Also, all hands meeting at the start of each milestone, so that we can go over details on management or design and wanted implementation. Sometimes those meetings were multiple until we figure out all the details, until we all agree for what is the final desired outcome of this project. With that in mind, keeping documentation and the Jira tasks clean and updated is also mandatory. When we get all the details of the design, it needs to be put on a paper, let's say. Whenever someone enters Jira, they need to know what is being asked of them at the moment. If the design changes, Jira needs to change at once. Every decision regarding project should be discussed and communicated in shared channels. I know most of us are communication in private channels. It is easier like that. You just go directly to the person, ask them what is happening, what is the final decision. But in big teams, that leads to people coming with different solutions from different sources. So for that not to be happening, we needed to switch all major project communication to shared channels. Of course, peer working, cooperation from various disciplines from the start of the project is crucial and keeps people more involved with each other's work. Meetings should be 30 to 45 minutes max. Anything over that leads to missed points, discussions that don't have anything to do with the project, and every meeting should have its conclusion and action points after that. Otherwise, it is a little bit of wasted time. We did have multiple meetings when we didn't have conclusions because no one was actually sure what was a decision at the end. What were our results? We became aware of the biggest risks and possible problems from the start of the project. It was frustrating because you want to keep the enthusiasm at the start with, oh, everything will be fine. It looks awesome. But that awareness brought us faster track with solving problems and also better arguments to the stakeholders and managers if we need deadlines moved or more time. Also together we found multiple solutions, even if they didn't seem the best at the time. They were the best for the whole team in the end. So we also communicated risks and needs early to the stakeholders, and that resulted in getting more time and understanding. And also we got more important role in and influence over design changes. There were no more unfortunate surprises at the end of the milestone, no more explosions. And we had 0 bugs on release on multiple projects. In the end, what has leading teams taught me? So I already mentioned open communication, why it's important. You always need to start with, is my perspective the only right perspective? And how can I make this easier and better for other parts of the team? Detecting problems early is key, and it is the best if you can do it that way. Clear steps and requests are mandatory to be communicated early and in each step of the project and from all sides. So we need to have a clear design from the management and designer side, and also we needed to be clear about steps in implementation across our team and to the management, so they know how much work we actually need to do, what are possible problems, and that communication need to happen all throughout the project. Analytic QA is crucial from the start. So I don't know how is it in other branches of IT, but QA is a little bit set aside usually in gaming. And what helped my project tremendously was actually having QA from the start as the member of the team. Sometimes it was frustrating hearing him, this is the problem, this could break here, and all stuff like that. But actually, I learned a lot from him, and our projects were better for it. So keep and nurture your QA. They can be integral. They can and are integral part of every project. This is one of the most important things that I didn't explain that much earlier. Adjust explanations and arguments, or modify the way you talk and how you explain yourself and your point of view based on the audience that you're talking to. We as a tech people find implementation details most important and some problems with it. But for most of the other people in team and in management, they either don't understand it or don't find it that important for themselves. So you need to learn to communicate in different ways to different people. That was one of the major, let's say, not problems, but things that I had to learn on the go. How to communicate to my teammates, how to build trust with them, that I'm on their side. I want them to understand both from my and from their side, what are the problems, how can we bring the project together to the end, and also to communicate the most important parts and pain points to the managers in a way that they can understand it. There is time for details, but not at the start. I've had multiple problems with this. Every time there is a pool to start thinking of details of everything that can go good or go wrong, how it will look in the end, or what will we need, how can we create the most modular structure there is for this feature. But most of the time, it is a waste of time. So gaming is highly iterative. The iteration needs to be as quickly as possible so we can see the result on the screen and see what needs to be changed and in what way. So it doesn't make any sense to invest that much time at the start of the project without ever seeing the result first. Most of all, I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with excellent people that inspire me. I learned a lot from them, and I keep learning. Thank you for your time, and I'm here for all additional questions.
So now it's time for Q&A. If you have any questions, please write it in the application. So we have a couple more minutes. Here is the first question. Can you expand on the analytics of Q&A, and what do you mean by analytic?
So mostly what I mean by analytic is analytical thinking. They need to know basic logic of our project at least as close as possible to the implementation programming level without the details and without actually needing to go in there and implement it. But our Q&A knew what each step of the process was, what I was implementing it, what were the possible problems. And they need to be able to pull apart the game on each part, on the atoms, if they can, and to see the possible problems as soon as possible. So that was the analytical part that I was thinking about.
Thank you. How did people react on introducing those changes?
So some of the changes went well because I were trying my best to communicate with everyone. I didn't have their trust at the start, as I mentioned, so it was very important to make myself a reliable person for them to see that they can trust me, that I have their best intentions as well as mine and the project itself on my mind. But some of the changes, as all changes, weren't that easy to implement, especially going through the shared channels to communicate. people are comfortable going to private, and whenever we were trying to direct them to share channels, it was about, do I have to? I mean, they know it somehow, they will get to know it. So yeah, that was one of the most painful ones.
Thank you. How difficult would it be to switch from backend web dev role to a AAA programmer?
It depends what AAA role you're after. So if you are if you're after something like a network programmer, then most probably pretty easy. Depends also on what experience do they want for a role. For junior programmer, you only need to have maybe some solo project, something to show for the companies to see that you have some experience and know about game dev. But for other parts or other teams, there might be some more knowledge needed.
Thank you. Next question is, what happens if deadlines are not pushable?
Well, then we deliver what we can. We cut the problems that we have, we hide them, and we deliver the minimal viable product, essentially.
You mentioned Jira. Have you tried other tools besides Jira? I know we had problem with tracking the length of tasks and cross-team dependencies.
I haven't worked with anything other than Jira in my professional life. Well, for the tracking, there weren't that many problems. For most part, it was easy to follow when is the deadline, when the deadline was crossed, and why it was crossed. It was important to communicate if some Jira will need to be expanded, and to fix it in the Jira as soon as possible.
There are quite a lot of questions. Is there a role in game dedicated to product which facilitates what a rebuilding process?
I haven't heard of it. But in a project management or project development, there are many roles. So yeah, it is possible.
How do you address conflicts within the team, especially political games? For example, when someone tries to elevate themselves at the expense of others.
Okay, so I didn't have that much experience with that. There were some problems, but we solved them internally with open communication with that person that tried to, let's say, downgrade other people. It all boils down to communication and showing what bothers you and giving the other person chance to redeem themselves and to understand your points also, because they can't work alone. If they undermine the whole team, their work and reputation will also be in pain.
Thank you, and we have time for only one question, which I think everyone is asking for. What AAA games are you actually working for, if you can tell us?
No, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm under NDA, but as soon as I am possible to tell you, you will see. I will share on all the channels.
Well, thank you, Ivana. That will be it for this session.